truth is this, God's people, I hear from God every day. God speaks to me every day. I've never needed anyone to encourage me in 30 years. I've never needed encouragement in 30 years. That someone will sit with me and say, oh, Brother David, don't get worried. There is no worry around me. In the presence of the Lord, there is fullness of joy. Now, let me tell you this. The devil wants to depress you so as to rob you of God's presence. He wants to depress you to rob you of access to God's voice.
Welcome to Apostle TV today. Access to the voice of God is the stronghold of faith. The voice of God makes you dare the undareable. The voice of God makes you think the unthinkable. And the voice of God makes you move the unmovable. The voice of God is the cure to the doubts of life. Your faith and my faith stands to be shaky if it is not rooted in the voice of God. If you can hear from God, the world will hear from you. Therefore, pay rapt attention as God's servant, Bishop David Oyedepo, speaks on how to access the voice of God.
I was in the bedroom when God said, arise, get down to Lagos, raise me a people. I wasn't in the prayer room. I was in the bedroom. Now, I was driving a car. I was sitting in the car when God said to me, the harvest of Africa is now overripe. Rush in and preserve it from decadence. I was in the car. I wasn't in the prayer room. I was in the church. When the mandate that is now blowing hot in 45 nations of Africa was delivered, I was in the car. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. It's time for us to understand that spiritual things only answer to spiritual people. Spiritual things only answer to spiritual people. Spiritual things only answer to spiritual people. Number 3, we must engage in a lifestyle of praise. A lifestyle of praise. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 29 to 31. Thou shalt have a song as in the night. Isaiah 30, 29 to 31. When the holy solemnity is kept, he said, and the Lord will cause his glorious voice to be heard. And through the voice of the Lord shall the Assyrians be beaten down that smote with a rod. You shall have a song, and the Lord shall cause his glorious voice to be heard. You shall have a song, then you can access the voice. You shall have a song. People are so depressed that there is no way they can hear from God. You shall have a song, and then the Lord will cause his glorious voice to be heard. Without a song, no access to the voice. Now remember, in 2 Kings chapter 3 verse 15, Elisha said, bring me a singer. And as she began to play, the hand of the Lord came upon Elisha, and the voice of the Lord came calling. You shall have a song. Then the Lord will cause his glorious voice to be heard. You shall have a song. Then you can now hear the voice. You don't have a song, you can't hear the voice. You don't have a voice, a song, you can't have the voice. You know, Paul said, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. He said, rejoice evermore. I want you to know what is in joy. If you are not joyful, you can't access his voice. Without his voice, you remain a victim. So rejoice in the Lord, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice evermore. The truth is this, God's people, I hear from God every day. God speaks to me every day. I've never needed anyone to encourage me in 30 years. I've never needed encouragement in 30 years. That someone will sit with me and say, oh, Brother David, don't get worried. There is no worry around me. In the presence of the Lord, there is fullness of joy. Now, let me tell you this. The devil wants to depress you so as to rob you of God's presence. He wants to depress you to rob you of access to God's voice. He wants to depress you to keep you in captivity. You cannot be oppressed until you are first depressed. Therefore, be free from every spirit of depression in the name of Jesus. Be free from every spirit of depression in the name of Jesus.